Another game passes by, another thrilling encounter, but I shouldn't say today's one was a thrilling encounter. It was, rather was a one-sided contest at the same venue where Pakistan lost their opening game hosting the Champions Trophy. I have Gurpal ji, I have Arijit Da. Welcome to the show, both of you. Two experienced candidates I have today in the show because I need experience when it comes to the Ashes. We have tomorrow's encounter. But firstly, I want to discuss about today's game, Arijit Da. Your thoughts on what happened today? We thought about mainly if we talk about Afghanistan, it is their batting. They win the toss, they post a total, and they defend it with the spin trio. You can say four spinners, whatever you can. But today they were given the challenge. They were given asked to chase, and that's where I think that they lost the game. To be honest, the match finished at the tosses according to you, or do you think that Afghanistan equivalently bowled poorly, or it was a flat track like Pakistan always produces? In South Africa batted brilliantly. Just take sum it up the performance of Afghanistan, also the game.
I think, look, I watched the first innings keenly and not about the second innings, but yeah, I did watch the second innings in bits and pieces. But what I could make out is that definitely South Africa outplayed Afghanistan, as the scorecard says. But I think somewhere down the line, Afghanistan missed that one particular player who was a revolutionary in the three-match ODI series with played between South Africa and ODI recently. That is Allah Ghazanfar, who's already ruled out. I mean, South Africa, although there were a few senior pros missing in that ODI series, but I have to say that Allah Ghazanfar gave nightmare to the South African side
Hundred
in
percent, yeah.
UAE. There's the same UAE, right? Uh, I'm very sorry. This match wasn't played in UAE, but yeah,
It was played in
obviously,
Karachi, but it's the
yeah,
same
in
conditions you can say somewhat. But how big a
subcontinent
blow?
conditions, yeah,
Yeah,
subcontinent conditions. And but again, I think Afghanistan's batting, Rahmat Shah, he was a lone warrior out there, and he just fell lost. He was lost of partners. So again, I think in an ODI game, an important partnership is very important, and you also have to pick the phases and capitalize on the phases, be it the power play, be it the second power play. And so I think that is where South Africa completely outplayed Afghanistan today. And
hundred
yeah,
percent.
as you can see in the scorecard as well.
Yeah, true that. 107-run victory for the Proteas, and that's how heavy the victory margin was. But Rohan, with the comment, our first comment of the day, says Rickenton played Rashid really well to keep the spinners threat away. And I think this is going to be the strategy for the opponents. Play Rashid because he's your dangerous player. Play Rashid, his 10 overs out, and you might just target the others. Gurpalji, over to you when it comes to Rickenton. Maiden ICC event, maiden ICC match, and he brings out with scoring 100. 103 was how much Ryan Rickelton scored, and then Rashid Khan produced that run out. Your thoughts on how brilliantly the Ryan Rickelton bat?
First of all, that Rickerton has to thank MI Cape Town for playing Rashid Khan in the nets. So he must have learned a lot to playing Rashid Khan in the nets. That benefited him. No doubt, Rickerton is in form of his life. He has scored a recently double hundred, and now he has scored his 100 in the ICC tournament knockout. South Africa have been lucky that after De Kock's retirement, so they have found the able replacement in Ryan Rickerton. And moreover, Afghanistan is a team who thrives on the batting first. Or like if
Yeah,
they post a 270 or above 280 score, and then their spinners can come to party and can obviously hold on to the opposition. Or the second chance is bundling out the opposition under 230, 250, and then probably chases down. And the main
correct.
players who perform while chasing is Ibrahim Zadran and uh, the
Rahmat
that
Shah.
no Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz, but both fell cheaply. So the main point is the conditions. The Pakistan pitches are flat, but during the night time, the ball when there's a lights on, the ball swings. And Marco Jansen, Rabada, Marco Jansen is also is being a left arm pacer with his awkward height and bounce. He will always trouble the Asian batsman, whosoever it is. So that's the reason.
Definitely.
And ICC has because usually ICC has to make this a day night affair and start with 2:30 p.m. Ideally, it was if the matches would have been started at 12 in Pakistan especially, so then the thing would have been different for sure.
No,
But
12, I think that is too much. I would rather say 130 could have been idea, just like Indian matches get start. But fair
yeah,
enough. We have to give credit where it's due, and I say that South Africa played really well. We were talking about Arjita yesterday when we were talking about this game. We said on paper South Africa's bowling attack looks weak because they have Marco Jansen and Kabisa Rabada, who are going to lead the seamers attack. They do not have the services of Gerald Kodzi. They do not have Marco Enric Nokia. They have to bring in somebody like Corbin Bosch, who's having a recent 6 months, to be honest, for South Africa. But still, yes, they're still backing somebody like Lungi Ngidi. They got over the line now, but still they have two big guns to play. But the good thing is that the net run rate, the net run rate is getting boosted because they've got a 100-run victory out here. What do you think? What takeaways will Afghanistan take? Because they don't have no easy games. They're making the debut in Champions Trophy. They know there's no easy game in this one. They have to play Australia, then England as well. What takeaways will Afghanistan take it to the next game?
See, I think uh, a few of the takeaways is that Rahmat Shah's batting, definitely. I think he's one of the walls, Rahmat Shah and Hashmatullah Shahidi. Obviously, Shahidi didn't play well today, but Rahmat Shah. And secondly, a 40 plus year old guy who's taking wickets for fun. And Mohammad Nabi, I'm talking about the president of Afghanistan. Like, not in literal terms, the president, but yeah, his nickname as the president. Right.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think these are the major positives. Also, Azmatul Omarzai bowling in the slog over space. I think that was really good because if you look at South Africa's batting in the first innings, they had plenty of wickets halfway through the stage. Even after 30 overs, I think they only Rickleton and Babuma were batting, if I'm not wrong. I'm
Correct.
not
Correct.
pretty
Yeah.
sure about the stats, but yeah, so then they had a good score on the board and they were eyeing for 350 plus target, with David Miller to come, Marco Janssen, Vian Mulder, Aiden Markram. So plenty of batting was there. But for Afghanistan pacers to restrict them to just around 315 or so, I'm not sure, not exact what the score was of the first innings, but yeah, whatever they did was pretty handy. So yeah, I think it's the batting that faltered ultimately, and so Afghanistan would be happy with their slog over bowling performances and a few performances in patches.
Okay, so you're saying few performances, patches, the bowling performance. You can somewhat say the fielding performance as well. In this death overs, they took a few good catches. Fair enough. So Afghanistan needs to do a lot of things, a lot of homeworks moving on to the next game. But let's take a look into our next game, which is the big one, which is the Ashes. I must tell you, we always say that it's Australia versus England. Both the teams are kickstarting their campaign in the Champions Trophy at an iconic venue where they had the host Pakistan had spent a lot of time behind that to hosting that venue, getting it decorated. We will see what time says and what the stadium plays. But here is the head-to-head in Champions Trophy between these two teams. It's 2-3 in favor of England, Paji. Can Australia make it 3-3?
I guess it's a very tough answer to your question because both the teams have been battered by one by India, one by Sri Lanka. India had better conditions to bat. Sri Lanka were totally ranked turners. The turning tracks were there.
As Paji's internet problem, I guess.
I would like
No,
to take that question forward. If not, we
no,
can
Yes,
swap it
yes,
later.
Let's
Arijit.
tell
Yeah.
that.
I think Gurpal Paji just has an. Just check your network, no problem. I'll ask the same to Arijit, please.
Yeah, so taking forward, I think Australia and England, a very heavyweight clash, a heavyweight clash, and one of those clashes that you always tend to look forward to in an ICC event, beat any event like ICC event or beat even the Ashes series. So, yeah, I think one of the game changing factors for Australia, I think the important factor they'll be eyeing at Steve Smith, Travis Head, Manus Labuschagne, uh, like these three very important. Assets for Australian cricket team, and for England, I think they have got a very good side. But again, they have to bounce
Correct.
back after a whitewash against Australia. So that is very very important. So yeah, Gurpal Paji is back, and I would love to hear from him as well. What is his views on it?
Okay, so handing it over back to you. You can continue, Paji.
So I was telling Australia has lost the series to Sri Lanka where the tracks were turning. India and England also lost to India, but the tracks were good enough for batting. It's England batting which faltered. So, but seeing tomorrow's game playing at Gaddafi Stadium and Harry Brook is the name I always remember when it's come to Pakistan playing in Pakistan. He loves playing in Pakistan, and I guess it will be a tough match. At least tomorrow we may see a nail biter or a kind of a match we are looking for in this Champions Trophy, which have there will be a fight because England has a good team. They have Phil Salt, Ben Duckett, Root, Butler, and Liam Livingston, then Jamie Smith and
There are
Harry
a lot
Brook.
of hard hitters, is what you're trying to say, and I absolutely agree with that. But England, with their baseball approach, I'm not too sure what they will go with. But before I move on to the pitch report, this is a very fascinating thing I always want to ask when it comes to England. Since the time Brendan McCullum has come into the squad for Test, they announced their 11 a day before, which is understandable. It's their call; they do it. But in the Champions Trophy in ICC, when they're announcing that they're playing 11 2 days before, what's the fuss about this?
I
Look,
think they want to put
I
our
wish
statement.
I wish I knew that.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
like
I
I
will.
want to hear it from I want to hear it from you. What could be the possibility? Is it mind games playing against Australia, or because you're handing it over the advantage to Australia to because I know what your 11 is going to be. I can strategize according to that.
Initially, when they used to do this thing, I think there was a clear cut response. Like what we could make out is that that's a bold call being made. Like we know our playing 11, it's up to you, you decide. So yeah, obviously they want to mention that they are bold and they are fierce. They are not ready to get bogged down by anyone. And I think it always sends a bold message, you know. But right now, if you talk about Australia, they're a champion side. You look at the players. You look at Steve Smith. You look at Manus Labuschagne. You look at Travis Head. The man smashes centuries for fun in knockout stages. So they won't be at all bothered. Whatever your playing 11 is, like they won't be bothered like 2 days before. Like they'll be taking things as usual as it goes on, and they'll just be looking to control the controllables. What I feel.
Okay, so you're saying they will do whatever they want, but it's just handing. I don't find it any logic to towards this one. But Gurpal is similarly for Australia, rather for England. I'll continue to say that they have three wicket keepers in the set, and I asked the same question to the other experts. I asked to Sandy Paji, and I said, "Who do you want to be your wicket keeper?" Because we always say your captain can be anybody in the outfield, but your wicket keeper is the second best captain because he can see everyone, and no surprises, jersey number 7 about that. But what I'm saying is that three wicket keepers, they're given the duties to Jamie Smith as per the team sheet. They might just change it, just like Arijit does say. They do it whatever they want. But Jamie Smith is going to be the wicket keeper. No Phil Saw, no Josh Butler. Do you think the right call has been made?
I guess because when if Phil Salt will do the wicket keeping, he has to open the innings and
Yeah.
the weather conditions and keeping for 50 overs, then open the innings. And if other team puts on a score of 200, 300, 350, or around 400, that's difficult for openers to contribute in the same fashion if he's a wicket keeper as well.
Jamie Smith has announced himself as number 3. So it's all the same.
No, but still, number three still has a time if you have a partnership, or maybe if you have a partnership or about like 10 overs, 11 overs, then you have a time for the number three slot to play. And you never know with England, they may send George Butler at number three, James Smith can play at number four, or maybe as a finisher because we know how Livingston plays and how other players plays. So with this England team, they are flexible. They are flexible enough to send anyone up the order, or maybe they can hold back Jamie Smith as well. So that will depend because
They can do
uh,
whatever they want, but not tinker around with Joe Root, I must tell you. He has
yes,
to bat in his
definitely.
preferred
Joe Root
position.
and Harry Brooks, their numbers are fixed. Their numbers should be always be
They
fixed.
should be at number 4 and 5, is according to me. But coming back to the opponents, Orijita, there is a comment out here saying that will Australia be under pressure? No Josh, no Pat Cummings. I can add a little bit to you, Tanish, as well. No Mitchell Stark, no Marcus Stoinis, no Mitchell Marsh, no Cameron Green. This is a different looking Australian side, which was there in 2023. Do you think, first of all, how, will they be under pressure? Is what the question was, and do you think they are challenging for the title?
Look, I think I don't know about being under pressure. Like Australia and being under pressure, I think the two things doesn't go hand in hand, right, together. So I'm not. If you had been asking me this question about any other team, I would have said yes, maybe yes. Like Steve Smith is a captain; he's a proven leader. He's a leader, and recently Ravichandran Ashwin, I think he mentioned in his YouTube channel or somewhere maybe in social media I came across. He mentioned Steve Smith as one of the brilliant minds, one of the sharpest minds as a leader, and when someone like Ashwin is telling that, you got to believe that. And I mean, why I'm saying this, because Australia, they might be without their Trinity pace stream Virate of Cummins, Mitchell Stark, and Josh Hazlewood. There is no Marcus Stoinis, all right, but they have Nathan Ellis. I think one of the underrated performers.
Correct.
Obviously, they are a weak in bowling attack. They have someone like Spencer Johnson, who is very new, to the conditions. Like not exactly very new, but again, not relatively experienced as the three guys Cummins, Stark, and Hazelwood. So I think they'll be looking at it as a challenge, as an opportunity for someone like Ben Dwarshuis if he gets an opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah.
A domestic legend. A domestic legend has been playing Big Bash since ages. For someone like
Sydney Sixers legend.
yeah, exactly. I know. I mean, like how many matches he just won with the bat for Sydney Sixers. He comes in at number 7 or 8 and or 9 at times and just whacks
He
sixes
loves
and
the Sydney
win the
smash, I
runs.
must tell you, with the bat.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're getting a little bit diverted from the topic. Yeah, that's what cricket passionate guys, cricket enthusiasts do. But yeah, I would like to jump to the topic, and that is like you mentioned. I think they're going to take it as a challenge, Australia, and I don't think that they look like a weak side on paper, but on like when they're in the field, they're
On
Australians,
the
and
given
you
day
gotta
is what you're trying to say, and especially when it's Ashes,
exactly.
they will be geared up, I must tell you, and that's where I think Australia are even more dangerous. That's like we always say, we don't know which Pakistan will turn up, but we definitely know that Australia is definitely going to turn up. But talking about the conditions now, it's a new stadium, it's going to be a fresh surface. It's the Gaddafi Stadium is going to host their first game, and it's a blockbuster one. It's Australia versus England. Here is what the statistics lies about the pitch report. Okay, when it comes to Gaddafi Stadium, I can see the statistics looks like 74 ODI matches have been played out here. 37 times the team batting first has won. 35 times the team bowling has won. 292, 235. Here is the average score. I can say now the modern generation says it about 300 should be the average total in ODIs. But Tanish has a question out here. Adding to my statistics, he adds my statistics and says, what should be the call at the toss? Coming to you, Orijita.
Look, I think it completely depends on what your team, whatever you're comfortable with, because now it's a fresh pitch, right? If you're comfortable in putting runs on the board and you back your bowlers to defend whatever total, you just go for it. I don't think either of the side really would like to do that because bowling are their weak areas. You talk about Australia, and I don't say like obviously Nathan Ellis is a very good bowler. He's very good in slog over space, as I mentioned. And you talk about England, I think they have been leaked a lot of runs in the ODI series as well.
Correct.
So yeah, both teams, I think for England especially, batting is where their strength lies, and for Australia, I think it's about their match winners, individual match winners in Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell, Marnus Labuschagne, Travis Head. Josh Inglis is an exciting player to watch out for.
Correct.
I think they'll try to assess the condition and maybe they'll go to chase.
Okay, so you're saying Australia might just go to chase. It's a fresh surface. You might find
Whoever
yourself.
wins.
Okay, whoever wins the toss is opting to chase, and I think dew should come into play as well, and conditions like Lahore as well. But yes, here's a question for you, Gurpal Paji. You said that despite not having three frontline pacers for Australia, you can never rule them out, just like Orijita says in an IC tournament. Just one name is Rian mentioning, and that's enough for us. Travis Head, nightmares for
But remember,
India,
they're not
but
playing India.
they're not playing India. Is it a blue jersey? It is a blue jersey. So
Oh,
it's
yes.
England. So Paji, Jian's question: never rule out Australia. Is it the correct term?
Yes, I would agree with Jehan. They never ruled out Australia because this match would be it should be England bowling versus Australia batting. Still, they have the batting fire. Maxwell, you know what he can do on his day. Stephen Smith can hold the innings. Manu Shan can hold the innings. Travis Head can go bonkers. Matthew Short could be an opener who can give you some kind of off spin as well. I guess in Australia for a change have a good spinners with Maxwell, Matthew Short, and Adam Zampa. Adam Zampa is always a beautiful bowler when it's come to ODI cricket and his leg spin. And Spencer Johnson, as Arijit also told,
Correct.
Spencer, I guess they won't be under pressure. Maybe you may find a dangerous Australia playing this because they have nothing to lose. because there would be no pressure, no big name missing. So they might be missing us experienced Pat Cummins at number 7, 8 who can
Mhm.
score runs, or a Mitchell Stark at number 9 who can score runs. Because that part they would miss. But their bowling, whether you call about Spencer Johnson, Nathan Elliott, and Shane Edward
They're
is a hard.
inexperienced, but they have the skill set to provide, is what you're saying. Whether it's
Definitely,
defending
definitely.
targets or you can bowling first as well, restricting them to a good score total. Fair enough. We're talking about the two leaders. It's two different leaders. For England, it is the same. But first of all, for Australia, it's Steve Smith is going to lead the side for Australia. He was super impressive in the Test series versus Sri Lanka or Jeddah. And he's going to lead the same team. No Pat Cummins is what we say, and that's what we heard as well. And I'm very looking forward to how Steve Smith once again leads the Australian side in an ICC event. But Gurpal Paji said it's Australia's batting versus England's different, and I want you to answer this. Says that whether it's going to be movable force of Australia or is it a stoppable object?
Question is for me.
Yes, Arijitda. Yeah, Arijitda, please.
Okay. Sorry, I just missed a little bit because of buffering. But yeah, movable force versus stoppable object. Australia versus England. Movable force in the sense means Australia and England stoppable object.
Correct,
Uh,
correct.
I mean, look, I'm really bemused by that reply. Like, how to? That's a googly. That's a wrong one, maybe.
Absolutely, that
But
was a googly from Utsav, and I must tell you, he's the statsman in this one. He always gives you typical statistic. This time he's coming with a sentence, a difference, to be honest. And Utsav comes with a movable force with stoppable object, which already that doesn't have a question, doesn't have an answer about. But Steve Smith, is he the backbone of Australia's batting unit?
uh,
Definitely.
not exactly Steve Smith, but I think Steve Smith, Manus Labuschagne, and Labuschagne, these both may be the backbone, and obviously they will be looking forward to see Travis Head. I think he'll partner with Matt Short, if I'm not wrong. I don't see JFM getting a nod at
Correct.
this moment in time
Mhm.
because of his inconsistent performances of late. Yeah, except for the last match that he played for Melbourne Renegades. Uh,
Mhm.
Again, so I think backbone Steve Smith and Manus Labuschagne, I would say, and they will have to depend a lot on Glenn Maxwell as well. I think he's an X-factor cricketer,
100%.
but I think I don't know if we're gonna see an uncharacteristic Maxwell. I doubt we might not, but with this much of missing elements in the Australian lineup, we might get to see. Who knows?
And I've always seen that Maxwell turning up when it comes to playing for Australia rather than playing for an IPL or any franchisee. When it comes to Australia, he always turns up, plays with sensible knocks, and also contributes with the ball. Fair enough. But when it comes to England, here is the skipper who's going to lead them. It's just the boss, Josh Butler, Paji, and that's where his experience comes into play. Gian has a thread saying that Travis said loves scoring hundreds versus England after India. He scored two big hundreds in England last year in the ODI series. Smashed Travis Head in different part at Jofra Archer in different corners of the park as well at Lords. Your thoughts on that? How important will Josh Butler playing in this England side?
Josh Butler is also a very key figure, and Australia always target the opposition captain. But the basic difference between Steve Smith and Josh Butler, if you say about captaincy, Steve Smith commands the respect of his team. I'm not saying Josh Butler doesn't command, but Steve Smith takes the calls on the field. When you see the England team, England captain, maybe anybody like Ian Morgan or Josh Butler, calls have been taken from the back end, like from the coach's side. So they have a strict plan. There is no flexibility of bringing that bowler or changing that bowler. So they will go on a pattern. For example, if Jofra Archer has to bowl 5 overs up front, they will bowl for him 5 overs up front. There won't be a plan A, plan B, plan C for England. So they go by the books only. So because
Okay.
similarly we have seen in this ODI series and T20 series against India. So when the bowlers are going for runs, they didn't change. They go with the same thing. That's the basic thing about the captaincy difference between England and Australia.
Okay, so you're saying you still want to see this rivalry going. You still want to see this fierce Ashes battle going on. But I just told you Arjit, that this man doesn't disappoint. Nutsav comes up with statistics which we all know, but he comes at the right moment. Australia hasn't won the Champions Trophy encounter since 2009, and they can just do break the jinx and do that at the iconic moment, defeating their arch rivals. But moving on to the players to watch out for Australia, these are my three players to watch out for, Ajita. I've gone with the three big names: Steve Smith, Travis Head, and Adam Zampa. My three players to watch out for. Anything different from your end?
Yeah, look, these three are one of the pillars of this Australian side, isn't it? And I think apart from these three names, if you want to hear something from me, I think I'll pick three more names who could be valuable. Like I'm not sure, but I would like to back them. Number one is Matt Short. I mean, I know his
Okay.
numbers are not good in the recent ODI series, but if you
Is
look
it
at
Matt
the
Shaw the batter
conditions,
or Matt Shaw the all rounder?
all rounder. That is what I was going to come to. So I think like if Australia see that there's a little bit of turn as well, like what was prominent in Karachi in the New Zealand versus Pakistan game. I think there was a little bit of puff of dust as well. So we don't know in Lahore what we're going to see. Yeah, obviously it's going to be a batting track, but if the spinners are going to get even a little bit of assistance, we might see someone like Matt Short get 4 to 5 overs. Obviously, he's important at the top of the order, provided he plays, he bats with Travis Head. Another name is Josh Inglis. Josh Inglis, I'm really looking forward to him. Got a recent century as well. One of the very
So
finest
according to you,
batters in
he's your
the
wicket keeper.
uh, I think they're gonna go for Alex Carey because they trust him as a keeper. Now I won't be surprised if they go for with Josh Inglis as well. But I think
Okay.
there's something about Alex Carey that Australian management trusts in him, and his knocks during pressure in adverse conditions. All of a sudden they're 4 down, 5 down, and Carey comes up with some 50 or 60 odd runs and just takes the team out of pressure. So that is one thing I'm looking forward to. And lastly, Nathan Ellis is the bowler I'm looking forward to. Brilliant with the old ball, has got very good amount of variations. The slow ones can pick up wickets, can restrict runs. Is very important on belter of pitches.
Absolutely. His back of the hand slower ball is so underrated, is what I'm trying to say. I know you are trying to frame out that as well. Moving into England's players to
Definitely.
watch out for, Gurpal Baji, and here are my three choices. I've gone with Ben Duckett, Joe Root, and Jofra Archer. In a crucial game, your players, the experienced one, has to step up. And I think Ben Duckett in the recent ODI series versus India performed well. And that's the reason why I think his left hand batting will come handy at the top of the order. Joe Root, no introduction. Jofra Archer. These are three players. Anything different from here?
So you have gone with three players. I will take the name of George Butler, the captain, Phil Salt, and I will go with Jofra Archer, or maybe Adil Rashid. Adil Rashid is
Okay.
bowled beautifully in India against Indian players, and Adil Rashid would be a watch out for. He's a leg spinner. It would be a great contest between Adil Rashid versus Zampa.
Okay, Adil Rashid from England, Adam Zampa for Australia, two leggies, two wonderful leggies. You're saying you're giving your three choices. Let's move on to the battles now, and here are three battles I've chosen, both of you. So three exciting ones I've gone with Arjida. Phil Saul versus Spencer Johnson, Jofra Archer versus Travis Head, and I've got Adil Rashid versus Steve Smith. Anything else? Any other battle you're talking about, or which one are you definitely watching out of these three?
Look, I haven't dig the stats about them. I would love to really get to know, like if I had got an opportunity that if there are some good matchups. But talk about battles. I'm really looking forward to see how the England England middle order, especially handle Adam Zampa. We did see how that they faltered against quality spin in India. So Adam Zampa is one of those quality or underrated spinners. Who
Hmm?
is because there's a Shane Warne from Australia, no one actually talks about Adam Zampa and his quality in the white ball format. So I think
100%.
especially Harry Brook, especially Liam Livingston, he has to stop. He has to curb himself from playing rash shots in
Correct.
the second power play and when it's not required, maybe. So against Adam Zampa, I think I'm really looking forward to these guys how they play.
Okay, so you've gone with your three players, and I think that this is going to be very important because Adam Zampa, just like Paji mentioned about Adil Rashid as well, they are proven match winners that they can turn up on their given day. What about the predicted playing 11? Arjit that said Josh Inglis will have the gloves. Here is my predicted playing 11 for Australia, Gurpalji. So I have gone with Alex Carey as my wicketkeeper batter. I've gone with Aaron Hardy as well as Sean Abbott alongside the other two seamers. Four seamers, one spinner alongside Glenn Maxwell as my part-time. Any changes for you? Would you fit in Josh Inglis as the batter?
So I guess I'm also happy with with this team because Aaron Hardy is must because with no Cameron Green, no Mitchell Marsh, no Stoiners, you have to play Aaron Hardy on these pitches because the pitches will be better and the ground size boundary size is also not very big, not very huge. So you have to have some kind of fast bowling option as well. The only thing is Josh English can then if you have to play Josh English then Alex Carey has to miss out. So it will
Okay.
depend upon if Josh English has a good form in he always play the white ball format. Or I maybe Josh English may play, but at the number we are looking for Josh English, I guess it's too low. Or maybe
Too
Maxwell
low,
can
so
get.
you need a left-hander.
So maybe you will go for Alex Carey for sure.
Alex Carey says Gurpalji. Similarly, you said Josh Inglis or Jidda. Any different? Any changes for you?
Look, I would love to see Carey and English both in the squad, but I think, yeah, I think that's a good point, a fair point made because Australia believe in playing more paces. Even in India, they played more paces when other teams were bringing in two to three spinners as well. So I'm not surprised to see Aaron Hardy, but I'm a little bit surprised to see Aaron Hardy batting at number seven. And but I understand because. Like, where do you fit him? But Australian management has preferred him to bat high up the order in number three, maybe in most occasions. But in a big event like this, I think it's better to give the responsibility to Steven Smith and Manas Labuschagne because three and four is a very responsible position. And yeah, Hardy maybe he needs to, Hardy and Sean Abbott needs to chip in with cameos. Let's see how
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
unfold.
They're handy with the bat, just like Gian mentioned in the comments. Sean Abbott can bat, Aaron Hardy can bat, so you cannot take their batting skills away apart from the bowling. But this is England's confirmed 11. We've discussed about it. England have already announced their 11. This is what they have got out with. Jamie Smith at number three, Orijita. Is that a big gamble they are playing with? Joe Root at four, Brook, Butler. Then you have Livingston. Livingston at seven. Or are they going according to the game situation?
I think that's a response to the stimuli that happened in the India series. Like, very straightforward. The batting depth was required, and they went for Jamie Smith. But yeah, if you want to groom a batter, you have to groom him at the top of the order, like Saurav Ganguly said. Like, batters are made at higher up the order. You cannot make a batter like a big batter, like who can be revolutionary at batting at number six and seven. So I think that's one of the reasons why Jamie Smith is batting at number three. But in an ICC event, yeah, it doesn't surprises me if it's coming from England because they are known for their surprising calls and surprising takes. So yeah, but I'm a little worried about Josh Butler batting at number six. I don't see the stats really good. Butler at number four and five is better. Even at four, he has an average of 60 in ODIs, but which comes down to late 30s, I think, and batting at number five or six, five and six. So yeah,
Okay.
that is
So
the
you're
one thing
saying
that I would
Butler
like
in
to
the
point
middle
out.
order is a concern. Danish comes out with a stat saying that Butler has been dismissed five times by Adam Zampa. You need to be cautious about that one as well. But now comes the big moment. Now comes what happens in the Ashes. It's predictions time, both of you. It's Australia versus England at the iconic Gaddafi Stadium, going to host the first game in the ICC Champions Trophy. Paji, where are you heading towards? What's your percentage?
I see England winning.
So are
I
you
see
going for
England
60
winning.
40?
60-40 England.
60-40 in favor of England, says Gurpal Paji. What about yours, Arijita?
I think the captain in Steve Smith will make something brilliant about it and will turn the tide. I think Australia are going to win, maybe 55-45 Australia. I'll give it to Australia because of Steve Smith and the leader and the big match players, Travis Head, Manas Labuschagne, Glenn Maxwell. You cannot, like, I know they are without a lot of players, but you cannot
Exactly.
simply write them off.
I was just about to come out here as well. Never write of Australia, even if they have a broken side. Arijit Das says Australia. Gurpal Paji says England. It's going to be heated up just like it was out here. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this watch. It's Australia versus England tomorrow, the Ashes battle. Then we have another battle on Sunday. We'll come back tomorrow for the blockbuster India versus Pakistan show as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye, guys.